ask people to find them. It's not about safety. It's about their power, and it's about their revenue. We saw this happen in New York. Eric Garner, and I think we need to spend time talking about the real cases like Eric Garner or the homeless people who are killed by the police, not the Michael Brown case, as we pointed out. That case was ambiguous at best to begin with. It was infuriating, I think, to the people that they would leave his body in the street for many, many hours. I think that's really the source of the anger. But the actual event was pretty ambiguous. And as they looked at it, it looked like there was a struggle for the gun. It looked like he was going back to the officer. We don't need to try to focus on that issue. There's plenty of issues out there where there is unrestrained, unjustified, clearly unjustified, no question about it, attacks on individuals, homeless people, or in the case of Eric Garner, a man who was simply accused of not having paid a tax. And he didn't believe that was the case that day. Apparently, what he said was that he wasn't doing that today. You're just busting me again, and got into a verbal argument with him, and they killed him for that. And when the mayor did not stand behind the police on that, because that all boiled down to petty revenue concerns. When they didn't stand on that, the police did a strike. They said, we're not going to arrest or fine people unless it's absolutely necessary. And guess what? They admitted by their own actions that 95% of what they did was not necessary. It was just to get revenue. And that's what we see happening in Chicago. And it's not only that, but of course, it's always about the money. And this red light camera situation also involves a bribery scandal involving top city transportation officials and executives from the city's former red light camera vendor. That's from USA Today. One of the residents, Mark Wallace, says it's been exposed for what it really is. And he's been hit with more than $1,000 in red light camera tickets. He says it's nothing more than a way for the city of Chicago to create a slush fund that brings in a lot of revenue. Well, red light cameras are just one way they do that. Of course, the big way that they do it is with civil asset forfeiture. They justified this back in the beginnings of the war on drugs, back in the 1970s, saying they're going to go after organized crime. So we need to have RICO statutes that allow us to confiscate property before we've convicted anybody. Because, you know, these guys who are in organized crime, they've got so much money, they've got such great lawyers, we can't get a conviction. The only way we're going to convict these guys, and we know they're all guilty, is to take all their money first. And then when they've got a public defender, we can throw them in jail. People said, fine, sure, yeah, let's get these guys in organized crime. Let's get these terrorists. Let's get these drug dealers. Well, when you allow them to break the important fundamental principle that you don't confiscate property from people unless and until you have convicted them, once that's gone, there is no such thing as private property rights anymore in America. And we're going to talk about that in detail. Rand Paul looks like he's going to announce his candidacy tomorrow. He had a great speech at, I think it was Bowie State University. It's a predominantly black university. It was covered on C-SPAN, and he had some great things to say about civil asset forfeiture. And of course, Rand Paul has also been moving towards the warmongering faction of the GOP. Troubles many of us who are very happy with what he said as a libertarian. I don't think you can make peace with these warmongers. I don't think that they're going to necessarily fall for that. I hope he hasn't changed. But he has a lot of things that he has brought to the discussion and the national discussion that are very, very important. So we're going to talk about civil asset forfeiture because it's more than just the presidential race. This is something that is being fought at the state level. There's more than 20 states that have bills before them to stop civil asset forfeiture. And you need to understand what's behind that, how corrupt that is. So we're going to talk about that in the next segment. I want to continue on with some news here before we get to that. We've got a Indianapolis gun store that is suing the ATF for keeping recovered firearms. This is a guy in Indianapolis. This is a handwritten complaint from a guy. He doesn't have a lot of money. He's also launched a GoFundMe campaign to raise $10,000 so he can fight this in court. But here's what happened. Andrew Hall, owner of Pro Firearms and Supplies, says that the BATF will not return the firearms that they took from a robbery suspect. This is a guy who specializes in machine guns and silencers and ammunition. He was robbed, and they got the merchandise from the guy who robbed him. They refused to give it back, and they're not even charging that guy for the theft. because they're the thieves. And we're going to talk about civil asset forfeiture when we come back. Stay with us.
Bugging out? What if you don't make it to your bug out location? Could you survive in the woods for days, weeks, years? Learn critical survival skills for warm and cold weather from Sigma 3 expert Robert Allen in this all-new 3.5-hour survival skills DVD series produced by the Survival Summit. Learn life-saving secrets on shelter, water, fire, and food procurement. Order the DVD series in the next 48 hours at thesurvivalsummit.com. Enter promo code SURVIVAL to save 10%. That's thesurvivalsummit.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
As the New World Order continues to tighten its grip on every facet of our lives, we're all asking ourselves, how can we maintain our independence? The answer is clear. Get prepared, and you get prepared now. Now the only question left is, where do we begin? My Patriot Supply is here to help. Call 800-247-3070 to get started with your 72-hour emergency food supply for only $10. We're even covering the cost of shipping. Are you willing to rely on the government and FEMA in the event of an emergency? Call 800-274-3070 to get started with your 72-hour emergency food supply for only $10. You won't be able to find this deal online, and there is a strict limit of 4 per caller, so don't wait. Call now, 800-274-3070. That's 800-274-3070. Call right now.
InfoWars Life and InfoWarsLife.com is extremely excited to announce our latest release, Winter Sun, a revolutionary type of vitamin D3. Winter Sun is a premium quality vitamin D3 nutritional supplement. It is produced by extracting oil from healthy, nutrient-dense plants known as lichens. Every batch is analyzed for purity and D3 content. It's completely free of toxins and allergens. Simply put, if you want the best at an extremely low price, this is it. Winter Sun is the result of our pursuit of the best source of vitamin D3. The research and development took over 2 years, but the result, as verified by independent laboratories, is the best vegan vitamin D3 product in the world. Read the facts at InfoWarsLife.com about Winter Sun Vitamin D3. Not only does vitamin D3 promote a healthy mood, but vitamin D supports our memory and brain function, something the globalists are targeting. Visit InfoWars.com today or call 888-253-3139.
Usually, the older one gets, the less you are able to absorb amino acids and the less you are able to repair the 100 trillion cells of your body. As a result, you'll have less energy, your tissues will shrink, and you'll become wrinkled. An older person will typically injure more easily and heal more slowly. Not fun. However, if you can consume a protein powder that is easier to absorb, then you may be able to gain back some strength, muscle, and speed of recovery. One World Whey is a highly digestible whey protein powder that may be the perfect answer for you.
My name is Errol. I'm 74 years old. You know, the taste of One World Whey is amazing. I play pickleball, and since taking One World Whey and your trace mineral supplement, I have more energy and recover faster from my working out. I used to take another grass-fed whey protein powder, but now I'm getting much better results using One World Whey.
Call 888-988-3325. That's 888-988-3325. Or visit oneworldway.com.
Don't worry. This show is documented. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight. I'll be your host today. We're going to be talking to Paul Joseph Watson in the second hour. One of the stories that he's got up on InfoWars is a top cop says that insulting someone on Facebook, you can get arrested. Now, this is the top cop is the person who is head of the Virginia Fraternal Order of Police. And this is the second time we've seen something like this in Virginia. This is a 26-year-old Kristen Holmes got into a Facebook argument with someone who didn't know who she was as mistaken identity. So she posted an image of herself pointing a gun at the camera along with the words, "I'll post a few actual pics of me so you know the difference when you come to find me." Now, she says it wasn't a threat. She says it was just a funny picture. She said, "What happened to freedom of speech?" Well, I'll tell you what happened to freedom of speech. We have a nanny state, and they did not back down. Now they're looking at putting her in jail up to 1 year in prison and or a $2,500 fine, a Class 1 misdemeanor. They said, I'm not sure what the crime is. I don't see here. Nevertheless, it's a Class 1 misdemeanor. The top cop at the Virginia Fraternal Order of Police says free speech doesn't say you have the right to insult somebody. Wow. You can't insult people on Facebook or YouTube. There's going to be a lot of people going to jail. We might be able to fill the jails up even faster than we do with the war on drugs. Hey, I think they found a new way to push the prison industrial complex. Of course, they point out the other time this happened was something like this. It was very egregious, even more so, was in 2012. We had Brandon Raub, if you remember. He was an Iraq, Afghanistan vet, and he was posting on Facebook stories that he was questioning the official story of 9/11 and talking about corruption in the U.S. government. He might have been talking about how the FBI is running all of these terrorist attacks pretty much. Either they know that they're going to happen, allow them to happen, or in many cases, as Judge Napolitano has pointed out, they will actually facilitate it. They'll find some patsy, they'll move with them, train them, give them transportation if they don't have it. We just saw that happen. Everything that they need in order to carry out a terrorist attack so they can stop it at the last minute and portray themselves as heroes. So he said the FBI was terrorist in nature. What they did was they picked him up and put him in a psychiatric ward because he said that on Facebook. Now, as I pointed out earlier, we have this story that's up on Infowars.com. Truly amazing story. The nanny state in England where you've got schools banning running on the playground. Can't play football, can't do any of this stuff because, you know, running is really, really dangerous. And as I said, what they really want to do is just lock our kids down and keep them inside. And, you know, that's none of us get outside enough. And that's one of the things when I looked at this is like, man, I used to be able to go anywhere I wanted to after school. I would have like 3 or 4 hours. I could ride my bike, do anything I wanted to when I was a kid. Not today. Not today. You're going to go sit inside and watch television or maybe get on Facebook so they can start building a dossier on you and start profiling you socially to see if you are a threat to the government. It's also a very unhealthy thing. If you don't get any sunlight, and of course, one of the products that we've just come out with is Winter Sun Vitamin D3. It's a nutraceutical quality vitamin D3. It's not the synthetic D2 that you see all the time. And of course, with this, it's a pretty high dose that you get with 10 drops. You get 2,000 international units with each one of these, with each dosage. It's a bioavailable form of D3 from nutrient-dense lichen. That's not synthetic. And again, that's available at InfoWarsLife.com. It's InfoWarsLife.com, one of the products that we sell there. Winter Sun Vitamin D3, because even though the winter is over, most people are not getting outside in the sun, and that's one of the things that you need to produce that essential vitamin. Now, they're getting a lot of sun, however, in California. Governor Gary Brown is now telling Californians that they're going to be heavily fined if they take long showers. You know, California already reeks of socialism, as my son Lance said when he saw this, and I think it's going to get a lot worse. Yet another thing that they can come after people for. And interestingly enough, of course, it's not just the socialists, and yes, they do have a water problem there, and there's a lot of things we could talk about that's behind that. I don't think that it is evidence of global warming, as Jerry Brown is trying to make the case for that. We've seen, if you just want to objectively look at the temperatures and not do it from airport tarmacs, but do it from a satellite, you will see that their models are not working. Their models are not, the increases in CO2 are not producing the kinds of increases in temperature that they said that we would see. That is not happening. Nevertheless, they're going to find some way to get money out of people. When we come back, I want to spend some time talking about civil asset forfeiture. And I'm going to play some clips of what Rand Paul had to say about this because he really hits the nail on the head. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
on the march.